August 24th, 410 AD, the eternal city of Rome has fallen. At the heart of this devastation stands a man who once served the Roman Empire, King Alaric, leader of the Visigoths. For centuries, Rome stood as an unshakable force, untouchable by any enemy. But Alaric, once an ally, now leads the charge that will break its walls and bring the mighty empire to its knees. How did a former Roman commander become Rome's greatest nightmare? Who was Alaric, and how did the Visigoths, once fleeing from the Huns, rise to become the power that would sack Rome? This is a story of betrayal, vengeance, and the relentless ambition of a man who would reshape the fate of Europe. From the bloody fields of Adrianople to the fall of Rome, we'll uncover how King Alaric and the Visigoth kingdom forever changed the course of history. Born around 370 AD on Puce Island in the Danube Delta, Alaric was no ordinary child. His people, the Visigoths, had long been on the move, fleeing the relentless pressure of the Huns. The Visigoths were not just warriors, they were a people seeking a homeland, a future. The Visigoths, led by their king Fritigernus, sought asylum within the borders of the Roman Empire. In 376 AD, they were allowed to settle in Thrace as federati, Roman allies, who would provide military service in exchange for land and protection. But the Romans failed to honor their promises. Famine and mistreatment led to unrest, setting the stage for a historic clash between the Goths and Rome. In 378 AD, the tension exploded into open conflict. On August 9th, 378 at Adrianople, Eastern Roman Emperor Valens faced the Visigoths, led by Fritigernus, in a battle that would shake the empire to its core. The Romans, confident in their numbers and power, underestimated the Gothic cavalry. The legions were surrounded, overwhelmed by the sheer ferocity of the Gothic charge. In the chaos, Emperor Valens was killed, and 2/3 of the Roman army was annihilated. For Rome, it was a disaster. For the Visigoths, it was a triumph. The defeat of Valens at Adrianople was catastrophic for Rome, resulting in significant losses. Estimates suggest over 10,000 Roman soldiers died, including Valens himself. This battle marked a turning point for the Goths and solidified their position as a formidable force against Rome. The victory inspired Alaric and other Gothic leaders, fostering ambitions for greater autonomy and territorial control within the empire. This defeat marked a pivotal moment in military history, demonstrating that heavy cavalry could decisively overcome traditional Roman infantry tactics. It signaled a shift in military dominance from Rome to barbarian forces, particularly the Goths. The death of Emperor Valens created a power vacuum in the Eastern Roman Empire. His demise led to instability and necessitated the rise of his successor, Theodosius I, who would later stabilize the empire by negotiating peace with the Goths. Following their victory, the Goths rampaged across the Balkans, pillaging Roman territories and increasing their numbers through defection from enslaved Goths within the empire. This period of unrest laid the groundwork for future invasions and conflicts with other barbarian groups. The defeat at Adrianople exposed significant weaknesses in Roman military organization and strategy. In response, Theodosius I adapted by incorporating more cavalry into his forces and relying on barbarian mercenaries, indicating a shift in military tactics that acknowledged the changing nature of warfare. While the Eastern Roman Empire would continue to exist for over a millennium after Adrianople, this battle is often viewed as a precursor to the eventual decline of the Western Roman Empire. The loss emboldened barbarian groups and set off a chain reaction of invasions that culminated in events like the sack of Rome by Alaric in 410 AD. Despite the bitterness of Adrianople, the Visigoths remained tied to Rome, and Alaric's military prowess did not go unnoticed. He rose to become a trusted leader in the Roman army, serving as a foederati commander under Emperor Theodosius the Great. Theodosius needed the Visigoths to help secure his fractured empire. Alaric fought in Theodosius's campaigns against the Franks, as well as in the battles to reunify the eastern and western halves of the empire. He participated in campaigns against various enemies of Rome, including the usurper Eugenius. Notably, he played a role in the Battle of Frigidus in 394 AD, where he led Gothic troops that helped Emperor Theodosius defeat Eugenius's forces. It was only after that battle that Christianity became the state religion in Rome. After that, Alaric demanded annual payments of gold and grain as well as military recognition within the Roman hierarchy. However, these requests were repeatedly denied by Emperor Honorius and his advisors, leading to increasing frustration among the Goths. The execution of Flavius Stilicho, a powerful general who had been an ally to Alaric, in 408 CE, created a power vacuum and intensified anti-barbarian sentiments within Rome. This led to further deterioration of relations between the Visigoths and the Roman authorities. Alaric laid siege to Rome multiple times between 408 and 410 AD. During these sieges, he attempted to negotiate terms with Honorius, but was consistently rebuffed. In 409 CE, Alaric briefly lifted his siege after proclaiming Attalus as a puppet emperor, hoping to leverage this new political situation to gain concessions from Honorius. By 410 AD, after negotiations failed once again, Alaric prepared for a final assault on Rome. On August 24th, he received assistance from sympathizers within the city who opened the Salarian Gate, allowing his forces to enter. Once inside, Alaric and his troops embarked on a 3-day spree of plunder. They looted wealthy homes and public buildings while sparing Christian churches like St. Peter's and St. Paul's. Despite the violence associated with such an event, reports indicate that Alaric's forces treated ordinary citizens relatively humanely compared to later sackings of cities. Historical accounts suggest that Alaric's forces seized vast amounts of treasure during the sack, including gold, silver, silk tunics, and other valuables. The plunder was significant enough that it left an indelible mark on Roman society and symbolized the decline of Roman power. After sacking Rome, Alaric aimed to move southward into North Africa but fell ill and died shortly thereafter in 410 AD. His death led to further migrations of the Visigoths into Gaul and eventually Spain. The sack of Rome had profound implications for the Western Roman Empire. It highlighted the empire's vulnerability and marked a significant shift in power dynamics within Europe. It also inspired future generations regarding themes of moral decay and decline associated with imperial power, as reflected in works like Augustine's City of God. After the sack of Rome, Alaric's journey ended in death, but the Visigoths' story was just beginning. His death led to a power vacuum within the Visigothic leadership, but his successors, particularly Athalf, Alaric's brother-in-law, continued to pursue the goals of establishing a stable kingdom. Athalf sought to solidify Visigothic power by marrying Galla Placidia, the sister of Emperor Honorius, which aimed to create a diplomatic alliance with Rome and regain territories lost to other barbarian groups like the Vandals and Alans. In 418 CE, under King Wallia, the Visigoths were granted land in Gallia Aquitania by Emperor Honorius as foederati, allied peoples. This territory served as a base for further expansion into Hispania. The Visigoths gradually consolidated their power, defeating local Roman forces and other barbarian tribes. By around 500 CE, they had established control over much of Hispania and parts of southern Gaul, with their capital at Toulouse. By 507 AD, the Visigoths had lost most of their territories in Gaul after they were defeated by Frankish king Clovis I At the Battle of Vouillé in 507, they retained control of Spain, making Toledo their capital. The Visigoth kingdom reached its height under kings like Liudvigild, who reigned from 568 to 586 CE. His rule is marked by military conquests, political maneuvers, and attempts at religious unification. He defeated the Suebi and fought off Byzantine incursions. Liudvigild is credited with founding new cities, including Recopolis, named after his son Recared. This act not only demonstrated his power, but also contributed to urban development within the kingdom. The kingdom became a melting pot of Visigothic and Hispano-Roman cultures, with a strong legal system based on the Visigothic code. The Visigoths began to adopt Roman customs and Christianity. They established churches and synods that facilitated the integration of Roman culture into their society. The Council of Toledo in 400 AD was particularly significant in addressing issues within the church and governance. Perhaps the most lasting influence of the Visigoths came through culture. Scholars like Isidore of Seville preserved Roman knowledge while integrating it into Gothic society. His work laid the foundations for medieval Spanish thought and education. Under Isidore's influence, the kingdom thrived culturally and religiously. Isidore of Seville, also known by his Latin name Isidorus Hispalensis, was a distinguished Hispano-Roman scholar, theologian, and archbishop who lived from around 560 until his death on April 4, 636. He is remembered as one of the last great minds of the ancient world, significantly influencing the intellectual and cultural development of early medieval Spain. Born in Cartagena to a noble family, Isidore received his early education from his elder brother Leander, a highly regarded bishop. This close family relationship deeply shaped Isidore's lifelong dedication to learning and the Christian faith. Around the year 600 CE, Isidore succeeded his brother Leander as the Archbishop of Seville. He played a central role in converting the Arian Visigoths to Chalcedonian Christianity, working in concert with Visigothic rulers to foster religious unity in a kingdom often divided between Arianism and Catholicism. Isidore was actively involved in various church councils, most notably the Councils of Toledo, which helped define church policies and strengthen the alignment between the monarchy and the church. His most renowned work, Etymologiae, is an encyclopedic collection that spans a wide range of subjects such as grammar, rhetoric, law, medicine, and theology. It became a vital resource for medieval scholars and was widely used as a reference and educational text for many centuries. Isidore was a fervent proponent of education. He promoted the establishment of schools and called for seminaries in every diocese, ensuring that the clergy received adequate instruction. His efforts aimed to preserve the remnants of classical knowledge, which were under threat during the turmoil of barbarian invasions. Thanks to his initiatives, much of ancient learning was safeguarded, earning Isidore the title the schoolmaster of the Middle Ages. His works laid the groundwork for the educational frameworks of medieval Europe. In recognition of his immense contributions to learning and scholarship, Isidore was canonized by the Catholic Church in 1598 and is honored as the patron saint of various groups, including farmers, underscoring his enduring influence in the promotion of knowledge. Isidore passed away on April 4, 636, after more than 30 years of service as an archbishop. His legacy persisted, shaping religious thought and educational practices well beyond his lifetime across medieval Europe. In conclusion, Isidore of Seville was a critical figure in the history of early medieval Spain. His scholarly achievements and dedication to education played a key role in preserving ancient knowledge while helping to bring about unity in a time of religious and cultural change. The latter years of the Visigothic kingdom were marked by significant political turmoil. Following the death of King Witiza in 710, a power struggle ensued between rival factions. Roderick, who seized the throne, faced opposition from supporters of Witiza's family, particularly Aquila, who claimed kingship in parts of the north. This division weakened the central authority and created an environment of civil war and treachery among the ruling elite. The internal conflicts led to a fragmented state where loyalty was divided among competing claimants to the throne. The historical sources indicate that there were effectively two kings at one point after Witiza's death, which further complicated governance and military response to external threats. The most decisive factor in the downfall was the invasion by Muslim forces from North Africa. In 711, Tariq ibn Ziyad led an army across the Strait of Gibraltar, landing at Calpe, modern Gibraltar. He swiftly defeated Roderick at the Battle of Guadalete, where many members of the Visigothic elite were killed. This defeat opened the way for further Muslim advances into Hispania. Following their victory at Guadalete, Muslim forces quickly advanced through much of the Iberian Peninsula with little organized resistance from the fragmented Visigothic forces. By 712, most of Hispania was under Muslim control, with only small regions remaining free. The combination of civil strife and external invasion led to a rapid collapse of central authority in the Visigothic kingdom. The internal divisions made it difficult for the Visigoths to mount an effective defense against the Muslim incursions. Once Roderick was defeated and key leaders were lost, there was little left to organize resistance. In the aftermath of their defeat, remnants of Visigothic nobility began to organize resistance movements in northern regions, leading to the eventual establishment of the Kingdom of Asturias under Pelayo. This marked the beginning of what would become known as the Reconquista, a centuries-long effort to reclaim territory from Muslim rule. The sack of Rome wasn't just the fall of an ancient city, it was the beginning of a new era. King Alaric, once a loyal Roman commander, had forever changed the balance of power in Europe. His Visigoths, once refugees fleeing the Huns, would go on to establish one of the most influential kingdoms in history, the Visigoth kingdom in Spain. From the ashes of Rome, the Visigoths carved out a new future, blending Roman traditions with their own, leaving an indelible mark on the history of Spain and Europe. Alaric's legacy and the legacy of the Visigoth kingdom can still be felt in the laws, culture, and history of the Iberian Peninsula. In the end, the fall of one empire gave rise to the strength of another. The story of King Alaric and the Visigoths is one of ambition, resilience, and transformation, one that continues to resonate through the centuries. If you found this story of Alaric and the Visigoth kingdom fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button and like this video for more epic tales from history. What do you think was the greatest impact of the fall of Rome? Leave a comment below and let's discuss how the Visigoths shaped the future of Europe. And don't forget to share this video with fellow history lovers.